Hello, quick disclaimer before we start. Last week we ended up mentioning a guest speaker. Unfortunately, something came up, so we had to postpone that one. Instead, enjoy this alternative theory.
So last week we said multiverse. Unfortunately, we can't do that, but we have another cool theory for you today, the Chronos Restart theory. I'm Science Swords.
And I'm Silver Songbird, and together we're the L Theorists. Today, as Silent mentioned, we are diving into Chronos Restart.
So everybody's seen the movie Groundhog Day, or at least heard of it. The basic premise of the movie is it's a guy living the same day over and over and over again. And the Chronos Restart theory is that everybody is living the same day over and over again.
And
Okay.
essentially,
Um,
every time you restart your day, those memories somehow still stick.
yeah.
In this, we're going to be arguing the logistics of this theory.
Yeah. Okay. See, so in the movie Groundhog Day, he only realized he was living the same day over and over again because everyone else was doing the same thing. But if everybody was reliving the same day over and over again, he did different things in the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So so everybody could be reliving the same day over and over again
And we
because
would never know
time
because different events are happening.
time wasn't like something that was around, right? People essentially created the concept of time. So it is fully possible to say that time isn't a thing and we've just been living the same day over and over again.
I mean, yeah, but then how does that explain different materials being used up and stuff?
Well, if they're being the power of seduction or whatever it's called, if I assume it's going to be happen, it's going to happen, right? So like
You mean
that's
power
my
of suggestion?
yes, not power of
That other thing is a
seduction.
completely different thing.
Yeah, I realize that now, but
Just taking a pause, like, wait a minute, that's not the right word.
yeah, when you accidentally use the wrong term.
I was
Um,
like, wait, is he trying to say subjection? Suggestion.
yes, I know. I mentioned it last week in the Denver airport,
Yeah.
but yeah, um,
So,
yeah. Or no,
as
I
you said
mentioned it during
before,
the Titanic, actually, not Denver.
yeah, I think I ended up saying time doesn't exist at this point anymore.
Yeah.
Which technically, during this quarantine here in America, at least, we've all been starting to feel the effects of Chronos Restart, thinking, wait, what day is it? Wait, what time is it? Does time even exist anymore? Because everything is a repeat of itself. We are doing the same exact thing we were doing yesterday.
I
Nothing.
mean, yeah, it's like you get out of bed, do either work or school, and then you kind of go to sleep. Like that's just kind of what your day looks like, which is pretty much literally doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Which, in
With
all honesty, it absolutely sucks. I'm not denying that.
it gets annoying pretty fast for sure. But like,
Which, if anything, the mundane tasks that we do now bring little things to our attention. Well, like individual seconds, thinking about how long exactly is it. Also,
hmm,
everything's a cycle, which at some points you can't tell what rotation you're on. What if you're just repeating the same exact rotation over and over? You never know.
so yeah. Well, I think so. My take on this theory. So Chronos Restart is by no means a L theorist created theory. This is widespread. A lot of people talk about it. One of the most famous conspiracy theories. But I have my own twist on Chronos Restart. So everybody says like there is a timeline, right? Like the Romans had their timeline, the Greeks had their timeline, the Egyptians had their timeline, right? All these different civilizations had different marking points throughout history.
Hmm.
What if that is like false and the timeline is one dot? What there's one dot in reality. And so I'm not saying you restart the same day over and over again, but it's sort of on the concept of time. So I figured I'd bring this up. What if time just isn't a physical thing? There is no concept of time. If you've ever seen Doctor Strange, the Marvel movie, The Dark Dimension, um, that was a world without time, yet Dormammu is able to live. I think it's fair to say pretty normally, right?
Uh-huh.
And so who's to say we're not doing the same thing, and we've just sort of come up with this concept of time and said, in order to like better grasp the way how everything moves, right?
Hmm. Or in this case, you ended up saying it's one dot. I have two ideas now. Hypothetically, the end of civilization could restart the cycle where we go back to the very beginning, kind of like how there's this theory where the universe expands and at some point it's going to collapse back into that singularity at the beginning of the universe, and the Big Bang will happen over and over and over, and we would never know.
Interesting. So you're saying, so like if we go way back to the Roman era, like gladiators, Julius Caesar, and blood and stuff, you're saying like when the Romans fell, the world reset?
In a way, perhaps. But okay, I'm talking like we begin as our most primal evolution, I think, evolutionary stage. But basically, as we continue on, we get to the Romans, the Roman Empire, and then all these wars happen over again. But if we think about the way that our world as we know it will end, us as a species, us as an entire world will die out, which will then restart the cycle. It's possible that we could be living this life for our 50th time, but we wouldn't know it because our memories have been
Oh,
wiped.
you're saying like the whole world is resetting when like I don't know, right now it's looking like a plausibility that like I don't know, world gets nuked upon, right? You're saying
Hmm.
like when that happens, everything resets way back to when we were farmers in southern Africa.
Yeah, basically.
That's kind of scary to think about. So we could have done this podcast 50 times already.
Hmm. Which also means the listeners who are hearing us right now that might be having deja vu,
That means you've
their
been
gut
listening
feeling is
50 times.
right.
If this sounds pretty familiar, because it might be.
Hmm. It's like that one time you were talking to me about the game Among Us, which, yes, I am putting this in. I had a little bit of deja vu. I'm like, okay, I have seen these little being creatures before. I know it from somewhere. That could
Oh
be a
god.
remnant from the last 70 to 75, or maybe even our third cycle. I don't know. It means
Well,
technology is being created over and over, but we don't have any memory of it because our worlds have been erased so many times.
that's like kind of loopy to think about. To
Either
just
that, or
trying
it's
to.
possible that the same events might not be happening repeatedly, but it might restart for the hope that humanity might survive to see another day.
Okay, so assuming that like we're talking like when it collapses,
We're
it
talking like
resets.
7 million year cycles.
Right. But what if it's not like doing the same thing over and over again, and there's some sort of thing that lives in the core of the earth that says, "Well, you guys screwed up. Try again," and it gives you another chance, right? So in this cycle, we had the Romans, the Egyptians, but maybe after this, the Romans just won't be a thing because like whoever created them just decided to, I don't know, take a nap instead.
I can just picture that you're on the boat and then it's like, sir, we missed our stop. Float past it. I don't want to wake up.
I don't really feel like it.
And you could just picture that happening, but like hypothetically, what if Rome started in North America instead? Or in
Or what if
Asia
North
for that
America was
matter?
never found, right? What if Columbus never set out and Indians were still living in America, right? It's like
Technically
you can,
natives. We're being correct on this podcast.
native, yeah, natives.
Natives.
Um, and so like,
I could just picture
what if,
my friend from India just going, yep, up, 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 back that up.
yeah, so it's like every time the world would reset way back to like past the Middle Ages, way back to when everybody was like the whole population was like 300 living in Southern Africa fighting each other. Um, like right now, it's like the only species around is Homo sapiens, but maybe after us, when this chance fails, it's not, or maybe or before this chance, it was not just Homo sapiens. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. My second theory that I have about this is Chronos Restart, but individual time period. English is hard. Individual time periods that we see as quote periods are, like you said, dots. We're not just one dot. There's several other dots. And rather than looking back on a timeline, we're looking into other times. Okay, let me put it this way. Each time period is a separate dot, completely cut off from ours, but we do know of it. And maybe artifacts float between the dots, if that makes any
Interesting.
sense.
Sort of. Okay, you just gave me another thought. So, what if every person marked a universe, or maybe two people, or was one half of the universe? And that's why when you find your soulmate, it's literally because you're two halves of the same universe. You know what I'm saying? Like each person marks a universe
Holy
where time
crud.
isn't a thing, where time isn't a thing, and so you're living in your, and that's how we have different DNA and different personalities, because we all have different planets inside of the universe that we represent, or the half of
Technically,
the universe
the
we represent.
elements that make up every individual person is technically stardust and dust from planets, which is actually really cool and kind of nice to think about. You're literally made of actual stars, but that's besides the point. But seriously, I feel like you might be onto something. My friend ended up trying to come up with a scientific way to explain soulmates. Your molecules were near each other at the very beginning of time, and they just kind of
Okay.
happened to come back together, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, okay. I know there's a guy like way back in ancient Greece, Plato or something. I don't know how to
Plato?
say his name. Yeah, him.
Yeah.
His theory was like way back there were double humans with 4 arms and 4 legs, half male half female, and then like the gods, because the ancient Greeks believed in multiple gods, just cut them in half, and so your soulmate is the other half of like these combo humans.
That's unsettling.
Yeah, a little bit, especially if you're like single or gay, because he was very specific, saying half was man, half was woman. What? So that does not make sense to me.
In that
I guess
case,
some
then
molecules thing.
in that case, then we're just kind of sitting there like, what?
I guess
I
the
don't know.
molecules thing could
Yeah,
work though. Like,
Plato was wrong about a lot of things, by the way.
but he sounded pretty smart when he was doing it.
Yeah, like
Doesn't
case
matter
in
if
point,
you were right, as long as you sounded smart.
at some point he ended up saying that women are just like deformed men, and I'm like, technically, biologically, It is the other way around because you start off as female in your mother's womb.
Oh,
Like your anatomy starts off female. I know, it's really weird. So, anyway,
that's weird, and I don't really know if I want to think or talk about that.
yeah, you don't want to think too much into it. Anyway,
Yeah, I really don't.
moving on from that weird side note. Basically, with these pocket universes, I'd call them, that kind of connects to the multiverse theory, which we were supposed to do, and I'm still salty about it. But anyway,
Yeah. uh, we still don't know what happened, but something came up, so we apologize for all those who are really looking forward to multiverse. But instead, you get this really cool Chronos Restart theory, which is probably one of my favorite theories, actually. Um,
it really is a really cool theory to think about. If it's just so open ended that you can look at all the possibilities about it.
yeah. Okay, so out of all this stuff we've talked about so far, what's your favorite and your most plausible?
My favorite has got to be, this is going to sound really cheesy, but the soulmate theory. Mainly
The one,
because it kind of gives you the idea that there's someone out there that has a feeling that you exist, but just doesn't know exactly who you are yet.
yeah. So it's sort of like the word soulmate sort of brings like fuzzy image of what you're looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just everyone who's listening, do a little experiment. Say the word soulmate and just kind of like close your eyes and see what comes up.
All right. Just list in
Right.
the comments what you thought of or felt, because that
Yeah.
this will go towards a decent amount of research, which eventually we might cover the topic of soulmates in a theory, but that's another
We
tangent
should
for another day.
we should totally do that. That would be amazing, and we
Absolutely.
should.
We should do it for Valentine's Day.
Oh, that would be, yeah,
Anyway,
Valentine's
anyway,
special
that's
soulmate
besides the
theory.
point. That's besides the point. Um, my most plausible theory, I've got to say, is the 70 million year cycle for the end of time, and the Earth is just like, well, you screwed up again, go again.
Yeah, and like the Earth, I don't know, demons thing is just like, wow, you humans are really bad at living.
It's not wrong then.
I mean, it isn't, at least not in this cycle. I mean,
Yeah,
and who's to say this isn't like the first cycle either? This could be first shot in the demons like scientific experiment. Like maybe the Earth is like a whole scientific experiment run over and over and over again, right?
holy crud, that's trippy.
Okay, so to all you scientists, when you do an experiment, you do it like 3 or 4 times at least. Um, so maybe the Earth is the same way to see like how easy it is for like humans to not kill each other, and maybe we're just like a little vial somewhere.
A vial or a simulation being run, which we will also get to on another day.
Yeah, that one will be a long
That would be
conversation.
so much fun.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, and it might have to be cut in two halves because I'm gonna have a lot to say.
Honestly, I think we both would on that one.
All
Anyway,
right,
so
so
what was your favorite and what's your most plausible?
I don't know. I have to agree. I think my favorite one is the soulmate theory, just because, like, I
It's
don't know,
adorable.
something about just saying it just makes it sound right. It's just like when I said it, I was just like, that sounds just right to say.
I think it's
Um,
also the power of suggestion. We want to believe that it's right.
we need to believe that it's right. Um, and then I don't know, most plausible. I don't know. Wow. And there's still quite a few to talk about, and we've got at like 10 minutes left to cover all these different theories. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know, most plausible. I don't know. I kind of like, see, I feel like the one that I thought was the most accurate coming into this conversation was you're living the same day over and over again. But I just don't know anymore. Like the world like resetting seems to fit, and the
Mhm.
time not being a concept would fit too. So I don't know. I feel
With the
like
world
most things
resetting, I
are
would
possible.
best compare it to, like, you know when you save your game, but then you're like, ah, crud, I have no files left, so you have to delete one of your save files and then
Yeah.
restart it.
Okay. See, so I think. Well, oh no, I don't want to talk about that because then we're gonna. Okay, you know what? Screw it, I'm gonna talk about it. So if we're talking like life is a simulation, right? Like we're
Hmm.
playing The Sims 4 and somebody saves the game. How do we know if somebody resets the game?
Oh, in that
Is this
case, we don't.
hold on, no, listen, hear me out. So you know like the thing where you can like convince yourself that's like where you can convince someone else that something happened, like if you talk about it enough.
Power of suggestion, yeah.
No. Nah, not exactly. So like if so there are like three people and one guy's like going across the monkey bars, right? And then the three people, two of them try to trick the other guy and say, "Remember when the guy fell off the monkey bars? He says no, and the next time they ask, he says maybe, and the next time he asks, he says yes." So what if that is because they saved right before it happened, and so he fell off, and half the people remember before the save, and then the other half the people remember after.
That might explain why so many people have different memories, like how I might remember something that my mom doesn't, even though we were there at the same event.
And it could also explain how some people have better memory than other people because
Because the
like
player is spamming the save button.
yeah, if maybe it's like some sort of alien life simulation, right? And so maybe like the person controlling me because I have poor memory just doesn't save because like they're just too lazy to save. But maybe the person controlling my like friend who has a great memory just saves every 5 seconds.
So me spamming the save button while I walk.
Save.
Yeah, that was literally me on this one game. But anyway, that's besides the point.
Yeah. Uh, see, I knew that was gonna happen too. Is you're gonna talk about that, but
Yeah.
no, it's fun to think about too. It's just like that could fit in with like time too, like talking about memory. Like
It
maybe
honestly
just
could. Anyway, so this thing doesn't roll too long. We're going to be covering these theories on a later date. Sorry for the postponing of that other theory that we were going to do. But anyway, that's besides the point. I'm Silver Songbird,
I'm saying swords.
and we're signing off as the L Theorists. Thanks, y'all.